Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to the NoDQ.com live recap of AEW Dynamite for July the 28th, 2021. Business definitely picking up in AEW. It's been a newsworthy week in wrestling, especially with AEW. And this show, we got some more news to discuss. We had an eventful show. Shout out to the chat room for tuning in live. I appreciate your viewership and support. And thank you to everyone for watching on demand as well. The summer's heating up. Let's get right down to this recap. We kicked off with a 5-on-5 Survivor Series style elimination match. We had the Elite versus Hangman Adam Page and the Dark Order. Before the entrances, we had a video package for Adam Page and the Dark Order recapping their friendship. Page came out to remixed music. He had the Dark Order with him, and everyone was wearing Hangman bandanas to show their support for their team captain. John Silver back in action after suffering an injury. Then we had the introduction for the Elite, and they were referred to as the Elite Squad. It was basically a basketball-themed introduction. They even had a basketball hoop out there. They were all wearing t-shirts with the Elite Squad, their numbers and everything. Kenny Omega teased starting the match with Adam Page, but he did not. And then we had a huge brawl with everybody in the ring. Reynolds hit a superplex from the top to the outside onto the entire pile of wrestlers that were out there. And Anderson ended up pinning Reynolds using a roll-up while grabbing the trunks. Then we had the Dark Order hit the fatality. Anderson got pinned by Evil Uno, and then Stu Grayson did a dive to the outside, but he kind of overshot it and landed on the concrete. John Silver checked up on him, and then Grayson was okay. He went after Gallows. They went into the crowd. Grayson jumped off one of the platforms in the stands, and then both guys got counted out. And at this point, I believe we were down to 3-on-3. And Page was in a lot of trouble because you had Uno pinned by Omega with the one-winged angel, and then Page got powerbombed on the apron, leaving John Silver alone against the other three guys, Omega and the Young Bucks. Silver hit an airplane spin bomb, got a near fall on Nick Jackson, but then the Bucks hit Silver with the Indie Taker, and I think it was Matt. He tried to make a basket while hitting the Indie Taker, but he missed, and the crowd booed that. They got Silver back in the ring, pinned him, and then Omega spit on Adam Page. They went at it, and the Bucks hit super kicks, and then Omega came in. They did triple super kicks. Page kicked out of it. Page kept fighting. He had a moonsault to the outside on all three guys, and then he came back in the ring, hit a double lariat to the Bucks, pinned Matt, but then Omega grabbed the championship, tried to use it. The referee stopped him. Omega grabbed another title, which Tony Schiavone referred to as the TNA title. I got a laugh out of that. And Page managed to hit the Deadeye. And JR thought Page won the match. Nick Jackson grabbed Page's leg as he was going for the buckshot lariat. And that hesitation led to Omega being able to use the title belt when the referee was distracted. Page still kicked out. Then Omega hit 2 V-triggers and hit the one-winged angel to pick up the win. And the stipulation of the match was that if Page and the Dark Order lost, they would not get title opportunities. They are out of the running for titles. Now, what does this mean? Will we see Page somehow get his title match? Or will we get a different title match at All Out? That remains to be seen. Really good opening match, a lot of fun, very well done. TJS with a $5 super chat says, she was a working girl north of England way. Now she's hit the big time in the USA. And if she could only hear me, this is what I'd say. CM Punk. Anybody know a reference to that song that TJS just put the lyrics of in that super chat? Let me know in the chat room if anybody actually knows what TJS is talking about. I know what he's talking about. Colin Andrew says, all EVP wrestling, no ref control whatsoever. Ray Perkins says, Dark Order and Adam should have won tonight. Well, that definitely surprised some people. Gary Joe says, the match frustrated me, but this is seriously must-see for the cliffhanger result. And Dr. NXT Scorpio says, Paige should have won this match. I will see how it plays out in the coming weeks. Backstage, we had Andrade and Chavo Guerrero confronting Pac, and Andrade had a warning for Pac to treat his people better. And I guess this is a little tease for what's to come. We had Taz introducing Ricky Starks for the big celebration. Ricky Starks, the new FTW champion. He had a big New Orleans-style entrance, complete with a band. And he cut this promo on Cage. Cage came down to the ring. He attacked the band members. He used the bass drum, hit it over the head of one of the security guys, or one of the band members, I should say. Whatever, indie wrestler, security guard, band member. They always have various roles. And Cage grabbed a trombone, which led to Jim Ross saying there's no place for trombones in wrestling. Poor Xavier Woods. Why do you have to take a shot at him? And Cage broke the trombone. Ricky Starks fled the scene. This kind of felt like a WWE segment with the, very sports entertainment-like, but it was good. I liked it. Anytime a guy gets hit with a musical instrument, I'm not going to complain. We had a promo from Hiroshi Tanahashi from New Japan Pro Wrestling, who challenged the winner of the IWGP US Title match, which would take place later on Dynamite. And I agree with Christian in the chat room. For some reason, Ricky Starks reminds me of The Rock in The Nation. Yeah, his whole promo and the outfit he was wearing, the sunglasses, like, he was definitely channeling early 1998 Rock for sure. I noticed that as well. We had FTR versus Santana and Ortiz. FTR, of course, had the Pinnacle. They were all wearing outfits, matching outfits. FTR got a big pop since this was in North Carolina, FTR's home state. Conan was out there with Santana and Ortiz, and Santana did the Three Amigos, crowd chanted for Eddie, and he even did a frog splash, paying tribute to Eddie, but Harwood kicked out of it, and he hit a power bomb. Harwood kicked out of it again. Santana and Ortiz were on fire for much of this match, but then something happened towards the end. Cash Wheeler got his arm split open pretty bad, and this was definitely not a work. He walked away to the side, and the camera was not focused on him, and he was bleeding pretty bad. And if you look at the replay, you could see pretty much he hit his arm on the ring post, and he was pretty much bleeding right when that happened. And everybody seemed to be lost for a little bit, trying to figure out what to do. And then Harwood hit a brain buster, picked up the win, and then he went to go check on Wheeler, and you had all the officials there looking after him. Hopefully he's okay, but that definitely looked rough. Pretty brutal injury there for Cash Wheeler. Best wishes to him. But yeah, other than what happened at the end, pretty good match here with these guys. And we had a promo from Britt Baker. She suffered a broken wrist after beating Nyla Rose on last week's show. Or during that match, she suffered a broken wrist. And she cut a promo saying that she pulled it off despite the injury. She had her hand in a cast. We then had a very, very interesting moment, an announcement. They had Tony Schiavone tell everybody that the second episode of Rampage on August 20th will be called The First Dance, and it will take place in Chicago. And not just in Chicago, but the United Center. Yes, the United Center, the big arena, 20,000 people. They're doing the second episode of Rampage there. And Michael Wayne, I don't even know what Mr. Tito said about CM Punk debuting at the United Center. This is definitely not a B show. They're doing this at the United Center. This is a huge deal, and as soon as this announcement was made, the crowd erupted in CM Punk chants. I mean, if this was all but a guarantee that CM Punk is going to be there. They're not going to announce a show for the United Center 2 weeks before their pay-per-view in Chicago unless they know that everybody knows and people are going to buy tickets for this show. TJS, I believe it's going to be live. I don't think this is a taped show, at least in the early goings. They may start taping at some point, but I do believe it's going to be a live show. And just in case people were not getting the hint, there was a promo backstage from Darby Allin with Sting. And Darby said he'll be in Chicago. And there are people out there that have laid claim to be the greatest. But in order to be the greatest, you have to prove it in AEW. And this especially, according to Darby Allin, this goes out to anybody who thinks they are the best in the world. So yeah, if there was ever a clue, there you go. Now, of course, they never flat out said CM Punk's going to be there, but, I mean, this is becoming the world's worst kept secret at this point. The First Dance, United Center, 20,000 people, Chicago. It's a big deal. So I am considering going to this show in Chicago. And thankfully, I am free to go to this because a certain somebody who's a big baller has a wedding during All Out weekend. But to my knowledge, nobody I know who I'm good friends with has a wedding on August 20th. I might have to make that trip out to Chicago. Dylan with a $2 super chat says, Darby and Punk are cut from the same cloth. Well, I mean, they're definitely rebellious in their own ways. Dr. NXT Scorpio says, whoever that is, congrats, LOL. And Michael Wayne, it's an hour show, but keep in mind they're taping other content too besides that 1 hour. Gary Joe says, man, as much as I love AEW, I don't want Punk to debut at Rampage. Well, they're trying to get this show off the ground, first of all. And number two, they're trying to build up hype for their pay-per-view. So in a way, that makes sense to have that appearance take place before the pay-per-view and drive pay-per-view buys for All Out. Like, if he shows up at All Out, people already buy the pay-per-view and, that's that. But if you have them show up before All Out, then all of a sudden everybody is like, holy shit, what's going on here? And then they decide to buy the pay-per-view. So it's going to be a very interesting August and really a very interesting fall in AEW. But hopefully COVID doesn't negatively impact what's being planned for AEW. I'll just say that much. It's a big deal here, folks. Things are definitely picking up. Yes, Michael Wayne Delta, the D word that we do not want to mention here. Get your vaccine, everybody. Moving on, we had a promo from Jon Moxley, and he basically just referenced the promo from earlier with Tanahashi, and Moxley said the forbidden door may be open, but nothing good is waiting for Tanahashi or anybody else on the other side. A little warning from Jon Moxley. We had a match for the IWGP United States Championship. We had Lance Archer defending his newly won title against Hikuleo. Hard to pronounce that, but I think I got it. He's the son of Haku, King Haku, who made an appearance on this show. And he actually got involved during the picture-in-picture. I think they gotta work out the timing with the picture-in-pictures, because I think even though you can still watch the action, I think people use that commercial break as an opportunity to use the bathroom or get a snack. And you don't really want to do something meaningful during the picture-in-picture because people are off doing something else. But to be fair, they did show the replay after the commercial break with King Haku getting involved. And man, that guy, Hikuleo, he is tall AF, to use Colin Andrews' comment. He was towering over Lance Archer. And even though Haku interfered with a death grip, Archer was able to make a comeback, hit a big superplex off the top, and then hit the blackout to pick up the victory over a game Hikuleo. And I guess Tanahashi is next, or is he? Is Moxley going to say, wait just a second here? I don't think so. We had Aleister Black, I meant Malachi Black, attacking Cody Rhodes backstage. Cody was in his EVP lounge, and it said EVP right next to where Cody was sitting. They fought onto the stage, and Cody got the upper hand for a little bit. The crowd started booing Cody, even though Black, I guess, is the heel in this, right? He's black, Cody's white. White is good, black is bad. Or so I'm led to believe. But yeah, crowd was booing Cody. And then when Black got the upper hand again, crowd popped for that. And he got the best of Cody, laid him out, and then said to the camera, "Welcome to the House of Black." And that's his new t-shirt, which is already available. They do come out with these t-shirts very quickly, I must say. And you had officials checking on Cody, and Black took out one of the wrestlers that tried to help Cody. Detective Mocha with a $2 super chat says, "CM Punk, I'm crying." Yeah, CM Punk, to use the Kurt Angle meme, it's happening, folks. Or almost certainly happening. How did I make a mistake, Curtis Butler? What did I say wrong? Let me know. We had a promo from Miro, and he said the glorious reckoning is coming. He's the Redeemer. He's going to take out Lee Johnson on next week's show. And, well, I have a feeling that he's correct on that one. I'm not going to doubt that. I think Lee Johnson is in for a beating on next week's show. Oh, Curtis Butler says I made a mistake because I said black is bad. Well, according to the crowd, black is good. We had the Jurassic Express going up against the Hardy Family Office, Jurassic Express and Christian Cage. 6-man tag team match. Matt Hardy took a cheap shot right away and Christian chased him off. Luchasaurus made pretty easy work of the Hardy Family Office. He suplexed all 3 guys and then he hit a choke slam to Mark Quinn. Christian got the tag, hit the big splash off the top, and the good guys picked up the victory. After the match was over, we had Blade come in with brass knucks. He laid out Christian and headed to the back, and it was announced for next week, the homecoming edition of AEW Dynamite, back at Daly's place for hopefully just 1 week, and it's not going to be a regular thing later in 2021. Let's cross our fingers here that doesn't happen. It's just a one-off. But yeah, next week it's going to be Blade versus Christian Cage. And also next week they got a big match. Aleister Black. Oh, that's the mistake I made. I called him Aleister Black instead of Malachi Black. Yes, I did. gotta get the A out and make sure I get it right next time. No mistakes. I can't be like Jim Ross and call him... I don't think JR called him Aleister Black, but he might at some point. Wouldn't shock me if he did. And that match is next week. Cody Rhodes versus Malachi Black. We had a video package for Nick Gage, who's the death match specialist. I like this, let the casual crowd know who this guy is. And then not just some homeless guy they got off the street. 9:30. Can you guys in the chat room guess what happened at 9:30 on AEW Dynamite? And yes, TJS Andrade was on the show in a very brief backstage promo with Pac earlier on. What do you guys think happened at 9:30? Johnny Boy, Christian, Nick Lavin, they got it. It was, in fact, a women's match at 9:30. We had Julia Hart, happy-go-lucky Julia Hart, the young cheerleader with her jock friends, Brian Pillman Jr. and Griff Garrison, against Thunder Rosa, who is now officially part of the AEW roster. Yes, all this time she technically was not part of AEW. She was under contract to NWA, and they were letting her work the AEW shows during the pandemic. But she is officially All Elite. Very happy about that. Definitely a good addition, or I should say a great addition to the AEW roster. And this was pretty much a showcase match for Rosa. Julia was playing to the crowd, and that backfired on her. Rosa took advantage of that. Julia did get a few moves in, but Thunder Rosa did pick up the victory with the Fire Thunder Driver and got a win, now officially part of the AEW roster. Dylan Hensley with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Dylan. I appreciate it. Says, fun fact that they're Hikuleo and Tamatonga are actually Haku's adopted sons. And Tanga is his biological son. I hope we see the other Tongas in Bullet Club soon. I'd love to see King Haku in AEW more often. Why not? We can always use a little bit of King Haku. And he was at that New Japan show at the Cow Palace a couple of years ago. That was fun to see King Haku live. I might have seen him live in the early 90s at one of those WWF house shows at the LA Sports Arena. Probably did. I'm thinking he worked one of those shows in 91 or 92. We had our main event of the evening. Chris Jericho bringing back his New Japan character, the Painmaker, against Nick Gage. MJF came out there on commentary. He had some popcorn for this. He was going to have fun watching Chris Jericho in a death match. And right away, Gage sliced Jericho's arm with a pizza cutter. Jericho was bleeding. We had dueling chants from the fans. Gage busted out some light bulbs because why not, or light tubes. Jericho had his bat, so Jericho was prepared to do whatever it took to bring the fight to this maniac, Nick Gage. Jericho got him first with the bat, but Gage was able to regain the upper hand, use the pizza cutter on Jericho's face, and all I'll say about this match is it was a spectacle. It's not everybody's cup of tea. 2 weeks in a row we've had violent main events on Dynamite. Very ECW-like match, CCW-like match, a game-changing wrestling style match. So if you like the really violent, excessively bloody matches, then this was definitely your cup of tea. If you think it's garbage, then you probably would hate this. So with that being said, let's get to the rest of the match. Gage brought out a pane of glass, and Jericho ended up hitting a Hurricane Rana, sending Gage through the glass. The glass was laid out on 2 chairs. Crowd popped huge for that. There was broken glass everywhere, and there were even a few fans that thought maybe they got glass on them. And that's, of course, one of the risks of doing a match like this, that somebody at ringside could get hurt. Hopefully nobody did. We had the glass all over the place. Jericho was bleeding all over. And then Gage got the tubes. He hit Jericho in the head with a tube, hit him in the back with a tube, and then gave Jericho a pile driver on the broken glass. But Jericho kicked out of it, and Gage got more broken glass, more tubes. He just had tons of tubes. Jericho then spit mist in the eyes of Gage. Jericho turned the tide and used the tubes on Gage, and then hit the Judas effect to pick up the win. MJF on commentary was like, God damn it. He got on the mic. He said that Jericho's next match will have a stipulation where Jericho has to win using a move off the top rope. And who was Jericho's opponent going to be? Well, long-term booking from AEW, because you had footage shown from late 2019. A in-ring promo with Jericho and MJF, and Jericho brought up Juventud Guerrera, excuse me. And in that promo from 2019, Jericho said to Google Juventud Guerrera's name. MJF back in 2021 said he did in fact Google Juventud, and that is going to be Jericho's opponent for the next match. It will be Chris Jericho versus Juventud Guerrera in 2021, and Jericho has to jump off the top rope with a move to win the match. Interesting stuff. That was Chris Jericho in a death match was not on my 2021 bingo card, nor was Juventud Guerrera facing Chris Jericho on Dynamite. Colin Andrew thinks the final opponent for Jericho will be Sammy Guevara. It might be. It very well could be. Zach Smith says Nick Gage is a worse opponent than Hoovy. LOL. Gary Joe says this was freaking amazing. I absolutely loved how this storyline is pursuing. Beautiful stuff here, man. And Nick Lavin with a $14 super chat. Thank you, Nick. I appreciate it. Says, might not be for everyone. I enjoyed it, but have to respect Jericho as well. This is definitely something not seen on a high-profile national wrestling show. That is true. And clearly TNT is cool with it. I mean, they were cool with last week, and they would not do this without TNT being okay with it. And I guess the sponsors are okay with it too. But yeah, I mean, I could not even imagine this taking place back in the WCW years with the standards and practices. Splitting ass cheeks with a $2 super chat. AEW is a cringy promotion. Support no DQ or lick bag. All right then. There you have it from Splitting ass cheeks. All right, so all in all, Dynamite was another great show. AEW is on a roll right now. I give the show an A-. I really enjoyed it. You had a pay-per-view quality opening match. You had a pay-per-view quality ending match. Everything else in between was pretty solid. So yeah, AEW, Fight for the Fallen, thumbs up show for sure. Dylan Hensley with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Dylan. I appreciate it. Says, do you think the Hoovy match should have been before Nick Gage? This seems like a downgrade to me. No offense to Hoovy. Love the death match tonight. Well, since they're going back to Daly's Place, I don't mind it being a little bit of a downgrade because it's, well, Daly's Place. Like, you might as well do the bigger match in the full arena with 7,000 people and do the lesser match at Daly's Place with 2,000 people. I understand that logic. But yeah, I also understand that point of view too. Why not do Hoovy first and then do the Nick Gage match? So yeah, I totally get it. I get both arguments for it. And, I'm cool with what they're doing here for next week with Hoovy. Nick Lavin and Girls Not Blue with an A-. Colin Andrew with a B-. Johnny Boy with a C+. Terry and Kevin with an A-. Curtis Butler with a B+ has crammed a bit much on this show. And I think maybe they did that because the first match, the elimination match, basically took up a quarter of the show. So, I could see them wanting to speed things up for the other segments. But show flew very nicely. And, I don't think they should do those hardcore matches all the time. But you know what? Fans are back. You're trying to build momentum. And I totally get it. You're trying to get people buzzing about AEW and get that snowball effect going. So I liked it. I liked the main event. And you don't want to do it all the time. But for what they did, it was entertaining. And again, hats off to Jericho for doing that type of match. A 50-year-old man does not to be... a 50-year-old wealthy man, Chris Jericho, does not need to be doing that kind of match. And Colin Andrew says, plug the review 148. Make sure you guys check that out if you haven't already. The most watched No DQ review of all time. So thank you guys for that. And we'll be back again Thursday night with another one. I hope you guys tune in for that. Johnny Boy with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Johnny Boy. I appreciate it. Says, with COVID spiking in Vegas, do you see WWE moving the event? Really not. I got tickets, man. I do not see WWE doing that unless they are forced to. Unless Clark County, Nevada shuts it down, the state of Nevada, they say this event cannot happen, WWE will go forward. Will there be a mask mandate? Well, right now, there's going to be one for the end of the month. And as long as the numbers are high in Nevada, there's probably going to be a mask mandate. But will it be enforced? Will WWE enforce it? Will the stadium enforce it? Probably not. They'll probably have signs saying masks required, but don't know if people are going to wear masks or listen. So unless things get really bad between now and SummerSlam, my feeling is SummerSlam will go on as scheduled. There might be signs for masks. Some people might wear masks, but I think the show will go on. And let's just hope it doesn't get to that point where things get really bad again. But right now, it's looking rough. Try to stay optimistic, though. But like I said, get your vaccine. This is not a political thing. Get your vaccine. Think of the big picture here. if we just nip this in the bud, we could be done with this. But we keep trying to open things up, and people don't want to get vaccinated, and the virus is still out there. So I'm not going to say any more about it. It is what it is. And I hope everybody that goes is safe, and nobody gets seriously ill from this. But that's for everybody to make their own decisions with, and figure out what they're going to do. And congratulations, TJS, on being vaccinated. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in. I hope people were not offended that I'm promoting getting vaccinated, but I will always be on the side of science. Take care, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see you guys next time for the No DQ review. Peace out, everybody. Stay safe.